Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet, and we are going to be casting a 1v1 game. Just a little bit of a breather between the awesome semi-finals that we had in the Home Story Cup and the grand final, which I will be casting tomorrow, and you guys will be seeing sometime in the near future, hopefully. But as I'm casting this, the quarter-finals are still being uploaded, so might have a little ways to go. But anyway, for this game, down in the bottom left side, we do have our orange Protoss player, ShoWTimE. And down in the bottom right side, we do have our green Zerg player, Tefel. I assume the D is it like a clan thing, part of because he's part of the Dig clan. Tefel. Yeah, I'm gonna call him Tefel because yeah, why not? And yeah, so going to be doing some pretty awesome stuff going on here. We do have a pylon coming down at the expansion, so this is probably going to be for some sort of forge fast expand, maybe, possibly. Alright, I'll stop screwing around. I actually started casting this game before, and I got about 5 minutes into it before I realised that I hadn't hit the button, and Fraps wasn't actually capturing anything, so major fail on my part. But yes, when I say maybe he's going to forge fast expand, what I really mean is yes, he is going to forge fast expand because I saw it already. But I am not fully casting this game from scratch. Yeah, so I don't know how this game is going to end. I don't know how it's going to move into the mid game. I do know that this probe is going to have a lot of fun in this game. A lot of fun. Yeah, so he's going to be, there he goes, he gets the pylon down, and yes, really doing an excellent job delaying this guy right here. And he's going to get in, he's going to see a scout, and it's a good thing the Zerg player actually got the spawning pool down nice and quick because, yeah, he's definitely delayed the hatchery now, so he's going to get a couple of lings off straight away, and he's going to go chasing this probe, man, and that probe leads them on a merry chase all over the map. And here we go, these drones vainly trying to take down this pylon. Meanwhile, the Protoss, Nexus before Forge, so that's a pretty risky build. And yeah, he might be in trouble if these lings actually come over because right now he has no offensive units. He's going to have to rely on his cannons and probes to survive. And he's just going to be getting the first cannon down now. So yeah, the expansion quite nice though. He's definitely going to be finished before the Zerg one. And I was actually remarking on it, I was going to say the last game, but it's this game, it's just the previous time I cast it. It's, yeah, this probe, not running back to the safety of his base. He's going to do a bit of a kite around here. It does mean that eventually he is going to die after a minute or so. They're finally going to hit enough of his health to take him out. But it stops the lings from getting anywhere near this base. By now the probe may have been back here, and yeah, the cannon's up, but they may have run past it. They may have done some nasty stuff to all of the probes in the main base. And yeah, he's keeping those lings occupied, so good on that probe. Probe doesn't have any kills. I don't know why I thought it would have some kills, but it's a pretty baller probe, so I would not be surprised if it did have some kills. But yeah, meanwhile, going on, this hatchery is going to be very delayed. So yes, he's not going to be happy about that Tefel. He is really not going to be happy about that. He needs to do something to catch up here, either some very potent sort of harass, maybe fast roaches or bailing bust or something, or I don't know what else he can do. Third base, that's what he can do. Getting up the third base, just droning out like there's no tomorrow. And I mean, he knows the Protoss has an expansion already. I assume he does know that. Maybe there's an overlord came in there, or maybe a drone came in before this gate was fully figured out. I think that's probably it. So he knows the Protoss is going to be going for a ton of probes right now, getting his own economy up. So it gives the Zerg player a little bit of a breather before he has to worry about is the Protoss going to attack me anytime soon. So yeah, he should be fine. Up until, I'm going to say, the 9-10 minute mark is probably when the Zerg player is going to really have to start worrying about the Protoss moving in. And yeah, the 9-minute mark is only if the Protoss is feeling like he has to do something, and he should. He really should feel like he has to do something at this point because, yeah, actually just measuring the distance between the microphone and my mouth, I found that if the distance isn't big enough, then it starts to get some distortion. But I think the distance is fine. I just have to make sure I don't move my head around too much while I'm casting, but it's usually not a huge problem. And what do we got going on? Looks like some fairly heavy sentry stuff. He's also getting level 1 weapons fairly fast and knocking down those rocks, so that's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah, so he's not getting a ton of units at the moment, just getting some observers, so he's going to find out about this base fairly quickly. He does not know about it yet. He hasn't done any scouting, but he's going to make up for that now with these observers. And the Zerg player does not have anything in terms of visibility, so yeah, he's not going to be able to see these observers. It's not a major concern. It's not like he's sending DTs out or anything. If he sent out DTs, the Zerg would be in quite a lot of trouble, though I do think he has a lair, so he could get an overseer in like 5 seconds. So it's not a huge issue. Now, the Protoss player, man, only 2 gateways. Now, I'd really like to see him get a couple more gateways. Oh, that's not the tab we want. That's not the tab we want either. We want this tab. Yeah, so really needs to get a couple more gateways out. There we go. He must have been building 2 while I was talking, because now he is up to 4. Or maybe he had 2 warps and 2 normal ones. Look at this overseer, man, just running in there, just totally dropping off. He sent a Ling in there just to sort of say, you know, confuse ShoWTimE a little bit to draw his attention over there while the changeling was in there. But ShoWTimE not going to be fooled. He does go back and he does wipe out that changeling. And 2 more gateways coming down. So yes, going to be very heavy gateway tech. And we've actually got Blink on the way. I don't know. He hasn't got Zealot legs yet. He's getting Blink. So he's only got 2 Stalkers, but getting Blink before Zealot legs. So he's definitely going to be doing some fancy stuff with his Stalkers. I don't know. Is he expecting roaches? Yeah, he is expecting roaches. And that is because he's got an observer over there. And he's seen the roaches. So yes, very good job there by our Protoss player, but he may be in a little bit of trouble. These guys don't have upgrades, but the Hydras are going to get the range upgrade, and they're going to get level 1 armor any second, and that is going to be quite bad for the Protoss player, because his army size is no, it's not looking all that spectacular at the moment. He's got a good set of forces to deal with the roaches, but I don't think he was expecting Hydras at this point, this 10-minute mark, so he's going to have to do something to counter those Hydras, and I can only assume that a Colossus is going to be the way to go, because he's already got a Robo facility out, so Colossus isn't too much of a stretch, but he hasn't got the Robo support bay yet, and it's all going to come down to these Hydras. I think these Hydras, there's not that many of them, but there's going to be more coming out. There we go, another 5, and he's just going to keep reinforcing and reinforcing, and the Protoss, I'm going to say the Protoss is in a lot of trouble there. He's out-armied. The Zerg with his 3rd base has really pushed out the economy, so his economy is not as good. And yeah, his unit composition is not as good, because versus Hydras, these guys are not going to be able to do what they need to do. He might get some nice splits, but the Ling's so very close to getting in there, but he wants to keep him on the main army. Trying to get some force fields, but those guys were nowhere near close enough. And yeah, the Zerg is just doesn't want to move in and get force fielded, but yeah, I think the Zerg has the better composition. At this point, he's definitely got more forces here. And there we go, there's the nice split we were waiting for. But he didn't get as many users as he would have liked on the near side. And I do not know if he has the DPS against this massive amount of Hydras. Although half of the Zerg's army, I feel like it isn't there, actually here. I feel like it's somewhere else. And yeah, look at this though, the Immortals and the Stalkers doing a great job at actually scaring these guys away. I don't know, man, it's just got to be the beefiness of the Immortals and the Stalkers which are saving them, because yeah, I would have expected these Hydras to just shred those guys, but obviously the lack of 1 weapons is not helping, and Protoss, he's got 2 weapons. That's got to be what's done it, because I wouldn't have expected them to go off against these guys. I mean, I'm looking at it, and the Zergs are a massive army. Well, they had a massive army, but it was a lot of Lings and Roaches. It wasn't a massive amount of Hydras, but we're getting the massive amount of Hydras out now. And yeah, his army has been cut down a bit, but he's still looking quite dangerous. That Zealot going out there for a bit of a look, and he's going to see that shit straight away. And yeah, the Zerg not really doing much to the Protoss. He's actually, the Zerg definitely lost from that engagement, but he does still have the economy. And I think he still does have the unit composition. The Protoss does not have a direct counter for Hydras. And, I mean, Hydras are a direct counter for Stalkers, and I'm going to say they're a direct counter for Immortals as well. The Roaches, not that good, but he hasn't got any Roaches. You can see barely any. It's just majority is Hydras and Lings are good against Stalkers and Immortals as well. So the Zerg player doing an absolutely exceptional job at finding a good counter for this very heavy Stalker Immortal army. And all that's keeping him from just going in is the force fields, because the Protoss can put down a ton of force fields very easily. You can see all of the Lings just getting wiped out there. And putting down a couple of clouds on there. They're not going to stop them though, the Immortals going out. But you can see this massive amount of Hydras really doing some damage. The Immortals just getting absolutely shredded there. They've got to fall back to the Nexus, which has been overcharged. And that's going to scare some of the Hydras away, but they just push out. They're definitely starting to get wasted though. The Hydra numbers definitely starting to get knocked down a peg. And the Protoss doing a really, really good job in getting his reinforcements out. Pretty much all of his original army has been destroyed. But he's warping in tons of Stalkers, and they're really just saving the day. But look at the reinforcements from the Zerg though. He's doing a very, very good job. I don't know if he's reinforcing as fast as the Protoss, but he is reinforcing Hydras, and Hydras are great against Stalkers. So there we go. They're going to back off a little bit now. They don't like going in there without any support, and they really want some more Lings to go in there, but the Protoss has got some Zealots as well, and yeah, he's not actually building that many Lings. He's just going for massive amounts of Hydras, just pure Hydra. And this, I gotta say, this is going to be a mistake from the Zerg player, man, because it's going to work. I don't know, it depends. It's going to be a mistake right now. It's alright, I'm confused. Give me a sec. It's going to work right now. A massive amount of Hydras is going to work for the Zerg right now. But he can't let himself get stuck in this massive amount of Hydras, because look at this, Storm's coming out for the Protoss player. And he's got to be ready to tech switch when the Storm comes out. And yeah, I might even just get I don't know, you can get a few Roaches, but Roaches aren't really going to help him. He's got to be thinking, alright, what's the counter versus High Templar? And I don't know. It's probably going to be Roaches, because Roaches don't take that much damage versus Storms. Pure Hydra is not going to do that well. But the Protoss definitely getting a lot of forces out. These guys have got 2 weapons. The Protoss still has 3 weapons. So yeah, the Zerg doing very, very well at getting the upgrades. And so is the Protoss. He's going to move in there. But Storm is nearly finished. Just about done. And if this was an open field, then the Zerg would be doing a lot more damage. But he doesn't like going in here. He especially does not like fighting next to the Nexus, just in case he gets overcharged. High Templar coming through. Bunch of Storms. He's trying to split, but he still takes a lot of damage in the middle of his army. And the Protoss are going to push here, but they are in a sort of concave here. Not good for them, but some Protoss still just pushing around the side, getting their own semi sort of concave. And yeah, this Stalker's doing a crap load of damage, man. Just pure Stalker, 3 weapons, just damaging machines, man, all over the place. And the Blink is really helping him out a lot, so great job there. But the Zerg economy, man, is still absolutely nuts. He's actually got a 4th base up now. He's 75 over 64, and yeah. Hydra's not that expensive. The main thing is the gas, but he has got tons of gas. You see he's already harvesting full gas on his 4th base, so the gas income is absolutely nuts. Protoss player also getting a 4th base down. So yeah, he definitely does not want to fall behind on the economy. But it's all going to be down to the Zerg player, I guess, to go in there and push in. And with the Storms out on the field now, he's got to be worried a little bit. He's starting to get some armor up now. This level 2 armor upgrades. But he's got to be thinking, there we go, Roaches coming down. So he knows that Roaches are a good counter versus the High Templar. Because simply if you storm a Roach, you can take like 2 or 3 storms. No problems, keep on going. Whereas the Hydras, they take 1 storm and they're in a lot of trouble. So We're going to see exactly what they can do now. That's a lot of High Templar though. And this Hydra force is, yeah, they managed to run out of there, but off creep, with no creep to fight on, these Hydras are just slow, man. They look fast enough, but when you're stormed, it's still just, it's slow, man. When you're stormed, every single second counts, and these guys would not be taking nearly as much damage if they were on creep. But they're going to do a run around here. They'd love to get some sort of surround on this Protoss army, or maybe just to get through in the 4th base, trying there. But it looks like they're going to go around the back way through here. And the Protoss, what is he going to do about it? Going to try and flank him on the backside? Or is he going to push in? Does he not know that that's where the Zerg player's gone? I don't think he does. And I don't think he has vision on these rocks. He does have vision on the rocks. We'll see if he's paying attention. It's a bit too late now. You guys have come in. This base is going to go down. And how many workers will be lost? That is the question for today. The answer is no workers, but the base is going to go down. And the Protoss, I don't know, he does not want to engage here. The Zerg has a very nice concave. Yeah, and the Protoss does not want to get flanked. You see these roaches just staying out the side. They'd love to get the flank in. And the Zerg doing a very good job with his positioning and not getting stormed. I mean, that's a really good point here. He's putting some storms down. They're a bit clumped up here. A storm, just managed to get away. But these ones, they were out on the left to get the concave. But the storm's going down and they were not able to escape from that position. So he got the expansion, but he took a massive, massive loss for his army. But look at this, 28 Hydras being built at once. So he loses one army and he builds another one. Really, really great job. He does have a macro hatchery. Was he just building this macro hatchery? I think he may have been. And yeah, really, really great job, man. That's when you notice. That's when you know that these guys are a master level player, because you think, all right, he's just lost his whole army. He's got to build up a massive amount of forces, man. Now, you or me, well, me anyway, but maybe you, if you're not a master level player, you would say, all right, I've got to build a crap load of forces. Let's get a macro hatchery. This guy, though, he says, all right, I've got to build a crap load of forces. I started building a hatchery a couple of minutes ago, and now it's finished by the time all my forces are lost. So yeah, very, very high level masters play that, making sure the hatchery comes out at the point you need it. Or maybe he was just building a queen and I have no idea what's going on, but yeah, good stuff there. And moving on, he's getting level 3 weapons. The Protoss hasn't got too much armor. As soon as 3 weapons comes out, he is going to be behind on the armor, and it's not going to be good, but he is getting a Dark Shrine. I don't know whether he's noticed that the Zerg player doesn't have much detection, but I think he may have noticed that the Zerg player has a lot of expansions. He's seen the extractor there, so he knows there's bases all over the place. And he's thinking, alright, whack down some pylons here and there, running some DTs into some bases. Force the Zerg to be a bit paranoid. And there's DTs just getting out. I'm quite sure that he saw them coming out, maybe. Maybe he saw them coming out. I don't know. He's getting a spore and 3 spines at this base, so he's got to have known they're coming out. He's got to be a lot worried about them. The drones are going to be running away, but they don't have these guys up yet. There we go. The spores are finally out. He's going to be taking these guys out. Meanwhile, this DT coming in here. Nothing on here. So great job there from the Protoss, sending his forces out to this base instead. He's going to be knifing some drones who are harvesting gas. Great job there. What has this guy got? 5 kills already? 6 kills? 7 kills? Yeah, great job. And where is the Overseer, man? Talk about falling asleep on the job. He's actually going to be hitting some Hydras in there. This guy just surrounding them. Where is the Overseer? It's totally slacking off, man. There he goes. Finally going to come up, and that DT is going to get taken out. But I would not be surprised to see the Protoss player keep on doing that. And he's pushing in here. Yeah, maybe he should have pushed in for the hatchery when the Zerg was out of position, but the Zerg are in position now. They are on the warpath. They are going straight for this 3rd base. The Ling's moving in there a little bit too fast, and the Protoss is going to hit him from the side, and this is going to be very nasty. If he gets some storms down on these Hydras, so much damage there, the Zerg is going to have to back off. It's just, yeah, the beautiful positioning from the Protoss. And here we go, a couple more storms. Those High Templar did get taken out, but Yeah, did some great stuff there. And good stuff from everybody involved. Both players maxed out. The Protoss doing pretty good. He's sending in some more. There's actually a Stalker. I thought I heard a DT. There we go. The DT was in there. They got taken out pretty much. And the Protoss pursuing the Zerg back to his side of the map. But some clouds put on these guys. Very nasty. Some more storms going out, but the Zerg dodged most of it. And the Protoss is going to return the favour to his base over there by taking out this hatchery. And these drones are going to run away, and most of them will survive. Although a few Zealots are in pursuit, and the Protoss really pushing in there. And the Zerg doesn't have a massive answer for these storms at the moment. The Roaches are doing alright, but Roaches still die if you hit them with enough storms. And there are storms coming out left, right and centre. The Zerg is forced to run every time he sees a storm. And the storms just keep on coming, man. And I think the Zerg player is in a lot of trouble. He does not know how to deal with the storms. And the storms are just demolishing his army everywhere he goes. And there we go. There's the GG from Tefel there. Could not handle the storms. And ShoWTimE just doing an absolutely awesome job. He was a little bit back against the wall, I think, when the Zerg was starting to get out the Hydras. He's doing a lot of good pushes. Managed to get in there, managed to take out this base, but after the Protoss players start getting in storms, man, the Zerg was just in a lot of trouble. His Roach Hydra with massive amount of Hydras just was not good against storm. He didn't really transition into anything else, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what he could have transitioned into, to be perfectly honest, because I mean, there's not that many units that are that good against storms. Roaches and Ultras are two of them, but you can see the Protoss did not skimp on the Immortals. So Immortal and High Templar, man, they counter Roaches, they counter Lings, they counter Hydras, they counter pretty much every single ground unit, man. I mean, maybe Air Tech, but he had Blink Stalkers as well. So yeah, this is a really awesome composition of forces for the Protoss player, and he had some Zealots mixed in there just to chase things down and stab him in the ass. So I do not know, man. He could have done some yanking on High Templars, but once a storm's cast, a High Templar can die after that. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, great play by ShoWTimE, but I do not know, man. This Protoss army, just such a good composition. I could not think of how to counter it. I really can't. It's just all over the place. I don't know, man. Something with Ultras, maybe. I don't know. I don't like any unit from the Zerg arsenal, man. This army from the Protoss counters pretty much everything. I mean, it really does. You can't even get mutas in there, because even if there weren't that many Stalkers, you put a couple of Storms on mutas, man, it's just game over. So yeah, now I gotta put my thinking hat on here. Yeah, I really actually can't say. If you guys know of a good counter for this Protoss army, post it in the comments, man. Just let me know, because I honestly cannot think of one. I really can't. I keep thinking Ultras? Ultra and Hydras, maybe? I don't know, but I still think that wouldn't work. I just don't. Anyway. Alright. Well, we'll say with it done there. Oh, God, a bit late. I told myself I wouldn't cast late, but it's the first yawn I've had, so this should be alright. Broodlords, I'm going to say something to do with Broodlords. So we're going to say Broodlords plus, I don't know what else you could get. Oh, I really don't know. Something to counter Broodlords and Lings, maybe. Broodlords and Lings. So massive amount of Lings to counter the Stalkers. So the Stalkers blink towards the Broodlords, and the Stalkers all die to Lings. And the High Templars, man, they cannot do anything to Broodlords. They're pretty much useless versus Broodlords. Pretty much. I mean, the storms, a few storms would probably do a lot of damage to the Broodlords, and then they morph into Archons that would probably kill the Broodlords. So I don't know. I give up. I give up. I cannot find an answer, so we're just going to leave it there. If you find one, let me know. Or better yet, send me a replay where somebody actually does counter this really, really well, and I will cast it because that will be awesome. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. This is Harry Muppet, and I'll be casting the grand final of their home story tomorrow. So yeah, that should be awesome. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. This has been Harry Muppet.